Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again, and we've got a matchup against my man Anthony here playing the blue Doflamingo, and I was rocking the purple Luffy right here. Shout out to my man Favorite, you know who you are, for that awesome PSA Luffy leader right there. I have always been looking forward to getting my hands on one of these, and this card just looks good, you know. But purple Luffy is actually one of my favorite leaders since OP09, and now I can finally play it to its maximum capacity, and I have such a fun build, and it's very strong, so I absolutely love this deck. And I've really been just loving toying around with some of the ratios and everything. But we get Zorojiro down on turn 2, finding the Luffy Taro, so our hand is set up for success. We've got the Luffy Taro into Sangoro for the next turn, but my opponent does get down a really solid turn 2 himself. So he's going to get Jinbei into Boa, gets the Rested Dawn onto leader, setting up the top of the deck for the rest of the turns, and swing 6 into life. I don't want to take this here just because if I do, I know that I still need to ramp to 7, so I would be going down to 2 life just a little too early for me. I am just going to go ahead and try and get some cards out of hand here. I swing 6 into the Boa just because I don't want to give him a free card from life. I'll use the leader effect to play out the Luffy Taro as well as the Sangoro. And Sangoro is my bread and butter in this matchup. It is so solid. I'm happy I picked up a Gum Gum Giant here as well, because that's very instrumental towards the end of the game against Doflamingo. I also need to see a 9-cost Lin. The Big Mom is very important in making sure that I can more or less stay alive towards the end of the game, because it's a lot of early aggression that makes this matchup very difficult. And he's going to swing 6 with the Boa here. I decide to let it go because I actually do want to take life here. I know what my plan is for the next turn, and unfortunately though, he kind of crushes my hopes and dreams and plays a Jozu out on curve, which was extremely solid for him. Getting rid of my Sangoro is just so annoying. I need that card in order to be able to stay ahead on cards in hand, as well as, you know, maybe not fall behind on countering out of life. It's a very, very important card in this matchup, and he does give me a 2k and a 1k to counter out of this. I am going to go another 8 into the Boa, and he's actually really considering saving this because he's thinking about just going all out pressure, but he does decide to let it go, thankfully. And I am just going to go ahead and just put down the Eustace Captain Kidd blocker and go ahead and pass. This means that my 7-cost Sanji can actually be very impactful the following turn. Just kind of depends on if he hits me with another Jozu, but instead he hits me with an even more troublesome card, which is going to be the Pudding. I liked our hand, but it did feel like we were going to struggle a little bit if he was able to go wide. So I actually think that this Pudding might end up being a little more helpful to us than we expect. Like, if I'm able to see a 9-cost Lin here, I'm actually very happy with the 5 cards that we draw. And if you look right there, we draw into one already. We get a Gum Gum Giant. I mean, it's just super solid cards that we get out of this. I'll give him the 1k counter, but with the 7, I am just going to go ahead and take that. And now he plays out another Jinbei into a Law. So honestly, my opponent's looking pretty good here, but at the same time, we're also looking pretty good. I've got, I believe, 10 Dawn to work with, and so I decide to go 9 here into the Jozu. He is just going to go ahead and let this go. I'll go 5 to life, and now I think I get a little quote-unquote risky here. Maybe I don't. I decide to use Lin here and trashing the Zorojiro. I get to heal 1, as well as I'm just deciding which card I want to put to the bottom of his life, and I think I decide to go with the Jinbei. Unfortunately, I think I hit my camera, so it might have just rotated the angle a little bit, but I get the 1 Dawn back with Eustace Kidd. I was considering swinging with Kidd right there, but I didn't know if I wanted to for sure use the Gum Gum Giant or not, but we'll see if I would putting I could block this, but I think I'm fine with just taking 1 life and then having double kid on board, right? So if I take 1 life, I think I'm okay with this. So he gives me a 6 here. I have to decide whether I want to counter out of this one or the next one, and we end up finding another Linlin, which is just amazing. But he also finds another Jinbei, which is tragic. So now we're going to see an 8k to life. I will just go ahead and take it because I know I have the Linlin to get back into this game. Also picking up another Gum Gum Giant right here is absolutely massive. We've got 10 Dawn to work with, but essentially 11 with the use as Captain Kid. So I know, excuse me, I know that if I play Linlin down, I can at least bounce the Weevil or the Jinbei. More than likely the Weevil. Just don't want him to continuously have this problem card for me. So I'll go ahead and clear board here. We are just going to rest 9 again for the Linlin. I end up trashing the Onami. I get the life. Weevil goes down. Sure, he's at 5 life, but at the same time, I now have 2 active Dawn for my Gum Gum Giants. We're still at 10 Dawn, so this means I'm only going to go back to 8. So it's like a free 4k 2-card draw right there, which is just amazing. Can't really complain about that. And I saw that the light was getting a little, you know, glare on the cards, so I tried to move them over. You know, just want to make sure that everything is very visible. He starts with Boa. Thankfully, no 4th Jinbei. 4th Jinbei would have been a little soul-crushing. But Boa here is going to give the Rested Dawn to leader. And now a 6k swing. I can just get out of it with Usohachi very easily. I'm expecting a pretty big swing with leader here. If he does go 9k, I can just block and give him the Gum Gum Giant. I think he's debating whether he wants to do that or not. Does end up using the leader effect to get out Weevil and then draw 1. He is just swinging 9, so I think, or excuse me, 8. I believe he is just swinging 8. So I should be able to just use, yeah. We're going to go ahead and use the Gum Gum Giant. I do decide to go with Trashing Kid. I think that's fine considering this deck runs a lot of blockers, so I might be able to find another one pretty easily. But he is just constantly making the board as wide as possible. I'm just holding on for dear life. And look at that. We draw into another kid. Pretty solid, all things considered. I don't have a perfect way of removing, you know, the Boa blocker, but I know that I can more than likely just play Zorojuro here, as well as the Kid. So I'll probably play down Zorojuro, see what I can find first, and then play Kid over it. I'm going to swing 5 just in an attempt to see if he'll rest the Boa, but that would be pretty silly of him. He's not going to make that rookie mistake. So he does counter. I go ahead and swing 9. I can play out the Zorojuro. I'm really just looking for like a 2k counter here. Sanji's not bad though. Yeah, Sanji's actually pretty solid. Usually I like to see this card a little earlier in the game, but it is pretty solid with him having a blocker now. He is going to feel more pressed to use the blocker as a swing, just because I have an answer to that and getting around it. My board is absolutely massive, which is terrifying. But the one thing I'm scared of is if my opponent is running the why can I not think of the name of it? Perfume Femur. If he's got the Perfume Femur, I need to be very careful about how I take this last life. I can't be taking it just willy-nilly. The reason I was able to take the last one was because I knew that I had a Linlin to be able to heal back up. He is going to swing 7 here. I do just go ahead and use the Giant right now, just in case, you know, I don't see like that big of a swing or something like that. I didn't want to feel like I could have drawn the cards that potentially answered what was about to happen. And I think for him, he's just trying to develop a board to get around these blockers. I'm definitely going to be using either Sanji or something to its maximum capacity. I do need to block with Kid though, which makes this a little tricky. But since he's going very big with the leader here, this is a very easy block with Kid. Because I don't want to have to play over one of them in particular when I'm playing down the Sanji. So I think that it's probably best just to block here, go down to 4 characters, and then, yeah, play out Sanji. Call it a day. But it looks as though he's swinging 11k, I think. And it's going into the Luffy Taro here. He ends up getting another boa, so he gets to look over that. Yep, we'll just go ahead and block with Kid. Want to make sure that, you know, I've got space for potential cards being played. Really sick top deck right there with the Gum Gum Giant. That just like kind of seals the deal. It just makes me feel extremely comfortable in being able to stay alive the following turn. I know that I don't want to leave him these boas, so I am just going to play a little slower. I don't need to be trying to go for game this turn by any means whatsoever. I could play down Sanji if I really wanted to, but Onami seems fine as well here. Oh, actually, that's pretty rough. The perfectly timed Gravity Blade right there, Raging Tiger Gravity Blade, does end up getting rid of my useless Kid blocker. Actually kind of tragic, but I'll just go ahead and play the Onami. I am just going to trust that Sanji, hoping for another blocker, and look at that. Easy. Game's easy. How do we do it? We play another Law, and now there's just like, there's really no way to get through this, especially with, even if you do have 2 Perfume Femurs, Buggy as well as Sengoku aren't going to be able to be targeted by that. So he's just going to play 4 for the Law though. Bouncing back, I believe he wants to bounce back the Law. Yeah, because if he gives me the Onami, it could get a little tricky as well. But he uses Sengoku here, I think, to try and find another Law. Yeah. If I remember correctly, he was like, you know what? We only got, we only have realistically like 1 play. And that's to try and go wide, get rid of your blockers, swing 6 to life. I can just give him the 2k with the Hitokiri. And then he has to pass. I don't have the ability. Well, that's not true. I do technically have an ability to go for game if I had a rusher here. I do not, so it gets a little tricky. You know, I think I just need to like double blocker or something. But I'm actually just going to swing 8 first. I almost swung 5, but I realized, I was like, oh yeah, I could potentially win the game here. I don't need to win the game here since he gave me back both of my blockers. I could just play them both again. I have 7-cost Kid in hand. That's a card that I've been testing out for a couple of matchups. I've been meaning to, you know, I basically just wanted to see if what matchups it was good into. And honestly, I ended up taking the card back out. I don't particularly like it for a lot of the matchups, but it did feel nice into like Shanks occasionally. Just being able to have that 6'd on. But now it's been taken out from me personally. But he's got 2 blockers to worry about. Again, the double Perfume Femur is a threat. I could potentially end up getting hit with, what would it be? 2 10Ks to go through blocker. But we do have enough counter in hand to answer that. So we're safe no matter what, simply because that is the best way that my opponent could potentially go for lethal. And since he's going with Perona, it already makes me, you know, feel pretty aware that he does not have that option. So we're just going to see a 7k to lead, using the Gecko Moria to pick back up the Law. More than likely just going to use the Law to bounce back my Law, and then try going for game that way. You have to be pretty lucky though, so I just give him a 1k and he swings 7. I'll just go ahead and take freely, but now we can just, you know, battle him out with the Lin. So pretty solid win right here. It did feel like, you know, a couple of choices were really key and I was getting the dub, but also felt like just the mulligan with Pudding and being able to see the Lin finally was very crucial. I think Lin, just seeing at least one Lin in this matchup is just very, very important, and managing your 5 costs correctly on the board. But thank you for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all on the next one, all right? Peace.